Okay, hello everyone. So thank you so much for joining the session. And today we are going to start our Open Source Connect Bangladesh, which is basically going to be a big conference. Basically, we are going to talk with a lot of people who are into open source, and we are going to learn a lot of stuffs gradually. So today we are going to start our session, and with me we have actually Sayam, who is actually is field CTO from Sivo. So let me add Sam to the stream and let's start. So, hey Sayam, how are you?
Hey, hi Mithul. Happy to be here, and hello
Yeah,
everyone from the Bangladesh community.
yeah,
Happy to chat on open source cloud native.
yeah. Thank you so much for accepting the invitation to speak at our Open Source Connect Bangladesh. So, okay, let's start. I guess, yeah. So, let's. We want to hear about you, like what you are doing currently, and let's know about you. Like, yeah, you can start.
Yeah. Hi everyone. My name is Saiyam Pathak, and I'm currently working as a field CTO at Sivo. So those who don't know about Sivo is a managed cloud service provider. We provide managed Kubernetes, managed databases, object store, machine learning services, and compute services, and some of the other areas. So if you can think of it as like if you have ever used Kubernetes, which is a cloud native orchestration engine or the container orchestration engine. And actually, it's much more than that, but I'll settle
Mhm.
down for that for now. So if you have ever used Kubernetes in cloud, any of the clouds, so you can think of Civo Kubernetes as one of the top offerings in that domain. So I have been into cloud native space and DevOps space for a long time now. It's been many years. I've been in Kubernetes space pre 1.0 as well. So I have run uh, massive machine learning platforms on Kubernetes in the past. So yeah, lots of stuff I've
Yeah.
been doing, and yeah, I'm also a founder of Cube Simplify. So again, it's a similar mission that you have to educate the folks in within your community. So mine
Mhm.
is kind of similar to simplifying cloud native for everyone. So that's what it
Yeah.
is. We have Discord, we have blogs, we have a YouTube channel with Cube Simplify that people can join and learn various cloud native latest technologies.
Okay, great, great. Yeah. I would like to add is like I was one of the actually beta testers of your Sivo on the
Oh
early
wow,
stages.
nice.
Like it, yes. So back at that time, I had very less knowledge about Kubernetes, but still I was I accepted as one of the beta testers. Yeah. So I've seen the journey a lot. Okay, that's awesome. And I also know about the Keep Simplify, and you were doing a great work. So okay, so actually talking about like open source, as we're talking about open source, so what is basically, what do you think about open source, or like how you describe this to students, like, and how they can benefit from open source? What's your opinion on that?
So open source is think of it as you have written a piece of software. A software is nothing but mobile applications that you are running, or any application that you are accessing online, or any application that you have downloaded. Everything is application. So any application that is out there, and let's say I have written one, and I want to share the code. So I share. So this is the real open source. Okay. So I want to share what I have written to you, so I open source it. Means I put it in a place where you can view the code. So you can view the code of whatever work I have done. That is open source in pretty very simple terms. Now over the years we have a lot of standardizations, a lot of concepts, a lot of licenses in place. So there's a thing called GitHub. So GitHub is a place to it's a source code repository. Like you put your code inside GitHub. Let's say you write a small program code. You can put that code in GitHub and you can share the link with me, and that becomes open source. Like that is not actually open source. Open source is made mainly for small projects or something that you have built, something that adds value. So that's open source. But on the other aspects, like if you keep adding layers to it, so the next aspects become the community. So this is true open source. Like if I have a project, if I have something, a cool application which is there, and I open source it, That's open source. I don't have to maintain it. I don't have to, I just wanted to share my code. That's open source. Now, the other aspect is when you want to build a community around it, you want more adopters, you want more feedback, and you want to iterate on what you have built. Uh, so, in that case, what happens is I write a product, I write an application, I open source it, I build a community around it. So, I want people to try it, to give me feedback so that I can work on those feedback, create more pull requests, enhance the code so that it becomes better. So, that kind of open source solutions becomes better over the time with the feedback from the community or whatever the community issues they are facing, fixing the issues, fixing the bugs. So that is the open source. That's also open source. And the last thing is the licenses. So they in open source ecosystem, especially when you put your code on GitHub, especially with the big repositories, you will see a lot of licensing that they attach to open source. It's basically to protect or to limit the usage of the product. What that means is, uh, just taking a recent examples, HashiCorp changed its license recently. They have all their products open source. They recently changed their license from Apache to, which means is companies building product on top of by using their product, using those open source tools which are owned by HashiCorp or which are not owned, I would say, but which are heavily contributed or falls under the HashiCorp umbrella, so that they won't be able to use the next versions if they are if they are in competition with um, HashiCorp. So that's the license change that they have made. Now there are licenses like Apache 2 that basically means you can build on top of it. You can build a commercial product on top of that and build it. For students, uh, I think it really matters. Like open source opens a lot of opportunity. How? Um, let's say there's a project, a company, a company has built a project, and company has open sourced it. Now students have the opportunity. Now there are always selfish motives when people contribute. Uh, like you, some might disagree, but there are, to an extent there are, like you still some obviously there is a large group of people that do want to do for the community, but it gives them satisfaction, it gives them learning, it gives them community, it gives them the reach in the community. So that is also a kind of selfish motive, but
Yeah.
you can contribute to a project, you can learn
Hmm.
while contributing, so that's a learn by doing approach. So that is one aspect.
Hmm.
Second aspect is you can grow within the community. What do you mean by grow? Means you can start from basic step by step addition to that particular project and then become a maintainer of that project, doing big
Hmm.
contributions, influencing the roadmap. So you can become that. Third can be you become very good connects with the organization maintainers, their co-founders.
Hmm.
So you can also ask them for jobs and things like that. It can lead. It has led to these kind of scenarios in the past very frequently. So because see what a company needs that someone should work on their system. If you
Yeah.
tomorrow come and start contributing and keep contributing for like 6 7 months heavily doing heavy PRs, then you say, okay, I did a job and I need a person who can maintain that project, and I don't want them to, I don't want to give KTs, I don't want to give them knowledge and stuff. So I think you will be
Hmm.
the best bet for me because you have already contributed, you already know about the project, you already love the community, you're already involved in the community. So that's where
Hmm.
you will be, um, you can easily get that sort of transition as well. So I think yeah, open source puts in a lots and lots of benefits for the students, but you have to be careful on certain
Hmm.
areas like the burnouts. Also careful because some companies just do open source for the sake of doing open source, that they are just building the community and then they're showing the user base the stars to get the
Hmm.
VC funding. So you have to get that. But if you're doing from the community perspective, good. If you're doing from learning perspective, good. If you're doing from job perspective, good. If you're doing to sharpen your skills, then also good. So like lots of goods over there.
Okay, great. I guess we have a question. Let's take the question because it's all about the questions and yeah. So
Yeah.
here, Zubair mentioned like in one of your sessions with Kunal, you mentioned that the importance of focusing on core CS subject in college beyond algorithms and data structures. What other fundamental topics would you recommend we prioritize as students? Yeah.
Okay, I don't remember the answer that I might have given,
Yeah.
but
No issues.
to the question, the thing is that I always say that irrespective of it's a blog or it's a conversation or a live stream, that
Mm-hmm.
the subjects, there are a lot of subjects like computer networking, operating
Mm-hmm.
systems. You need to know that, because the thing is you need to know where you are deploying your application. And see, when you are in job, you will be assigned to a team. Your team is working on a project. You will be part of that project. You will be playing a very small role initially when you just join. Okay, you'll be starting with
Yeah.
off with very small projects, and then iterate towards bigger contribution in that particular project. But you
Mm-hmm.
should know where your where your focus areas are. You should know the basic of operating system, like you should know where your application are deploying, where your how your systems are running. Because what happens is when you transition, let's say for example DevOps was not there 20 years back, like the processes were, but the terminology and the Kubernetes not was not there 10 years back. So Kubernetes came in. Now everybody wants to learn it and wants to get a job in it. No harm in that. Get a job in Kubernetes, no problem. But what happens is
Mm-hmm.
when you sit and when you try to troubleshoot stuff, networking comes into picture. You don't know what is OSI layer, so you don't know what is IPv4. You don't know how to find the IP address. You don't know what are IP tables. You don't know the basics, DNS. So that is important. Those are core. So the core fundamentals, I think, are very important, and that's where I have this DevOps roadmap on my
Mm-hmm.
YouTube
Yeah.
channel. Actually, I have
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
both, in Hindi and in English, both languages. So if
Yeah.
you have time, please go through that roadmap. I have clearly explained what all fundamentals is required to get into that particular field. But in general, you should have some good experience in building application. If you love them, then probably build the application. Data structures and algorithm, when they come into places, when you are building the application and you're fine tuning the performances of how the applications are running, these
Mm-hmm.
data structure algorithm actually fine tunes those. You might see on
Okay.
platforms as well. There is some scoring that is given, like you submit a code or somebody else
Mm-hmm.
submits a code, it runs faster, it has good scoring,
Mm-hmm.
because they have structured their entire program in such a way. So you have to learn the
Mm-hmm.
fundamentals. So fundamentals includes the operating system concepts, the computer networking concepts. Networking is a big plus that you should go learn. Fundamental programming language, so that you understand the programming constructs. No need to learn every programming language. So Rust was not popular, Golang was not there since pre 2008 era. So these are new stuff. Like, I mean, they're not
Mm-hmm.
new, but in terms of, like, if I compare it to Java and C and all those historic languages, these are pretty decent and new languages. So
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that the people who were in the C++ domain, they are not learning Go. It was very easy for them because they know the programming constructs. So if you know the programming constructs, you probably will be easier in future also. Like if you want to learn Zig, if you want to learn Rust, if you want to learn any sort of programming language, you know the fundamentals, you know the control loops, you know the for loops, some of the if else, all these statement, there's try catch. The fundamentals is there. And then the structuring change, the variable definitions change, how it works change, the some of the
Yeah.
semantics change, and then there is additional add-on for each of the language that is out there. So that is what you
Yeah.
should
So
prioritize.
yeah, so core things are actually something we can't miss out because in the long run we have to suffer for that, right? Yeah. Okay, so I guess another questions come up. Like for students who don't have access to internships, are there other ways we can gain practical experience while still in college, such as through open source contributions?
Why not? That's what open source is for. So that gives you a practical application. So eh, open source tools are actually used in production. So
Mm-hmm.
your contribution directly makes impact to the next release that someone else in some organization will be using. So I think
Mm-hmm.
it's you can gain that. And practical experience is basically you won't be able to run that at production scale, but practical experience in the sense of how code works and how a teamwork happens, collaboration, working on the PRs. Yes, definitely you can learn all these things by contributing to open source.
Yeah, I guess that's what possible from our end, right? Yes. Okay. So Ashmit has a question like, I have been contributing to open source, specifically in design 3 years, but now I am graduating and I want to find a job in open source design. There are so less opportunities in that domain. Any tips? Yeah.
Yeah, so the job finding stuff is always tricky and hard, uh, considering the current economic situation as well. So what I would suggest is run through the LinkedIn definitely. Also, all the connections in open source that you have made in the past 3 years by contributing, since you have done significantly in the from the past 3 years. I'm assuming that you have done a lot of contributions in the past 3 years in various different projects, as you have mentioned. So reach out to those maintainers, reach out to those friends and folks you have contributed with, and ask them like, I am now graduating, I need internship in so and so, is there any opportunity? See all the projects that you have contributed to are being used by what all companies, and reach out to those companies that I have contributed to a project that your company already uses. I am looking for opportunities. There might be chances that you get ahead in the curve. And then yeah, keep your profile strong. Like if you can build something, you can showcase something to the audience, build something cool, showcase it that I have built this, and tweet that out, blog that out, keep sharing what you are learning in terms of the specific things. And so there are two aspects of it. Okay, one is educating and one is sharing your experience. So right now you are doing sharing your experience, but sharing your experience doesn't guarantee you a job, in terms of like if you want to become a document writer or if you want to become a content creator and all that stuff. Okay, so that comes in the another layer of another bucket. But yeah, sharing your experience will get more eyes, and people will get to know, okay, this person is building so and so stuff, and then they might be able to connect to you, or comment and try to reach different folks on Twitter. I think Twitter is a very interesting place, or X platform I should say now. So X platform is pretty interesting place in terms of tech. A lot of stuff gets shared. LinkedIn is pretty massive as well, so both the platforms can be used. Blue Sky is another tech, like my feed in Blue Sky is pretty tech heavy. So make sure to join these platforms, share it, get interactive with other conversation in similar space, in the design space, and uh, all the best.
Yeah, I guess it's all about like finding the ecosystem, like what you're working, and find that ecosystem and then hopping into it. Okay, so okay, another question. Like you spoke about the value of certifications like CK and CKD. At what point in our careers would you suggest we start pursuing these
Anytime.
kinds of
Like I
things?
was Java certified when I was in college, so you can be too. There's no mandatory thing that you have to do. It
Hmm.
helped me in getting resume shortlisting, so it can help you too. That's what I have said in any cert video that I have ever created, that certifications never guarantee you a job, because any interview that I take, or any interview in like long time back when I sat in interviews, nobody asked for my certification, and neither did I from anyone that I have taken interview from about certifications, because that is like that might matter for HR to shortlist you, but it doesn't
Yeah,
matter for me. I want to know what you know. I want to know what you have put on your resume. I want to know what my company is facing right now, and if you have some solutions to it, because you will be working with me on my project. So if I have something related to that project, I'll be asking you that, and if you can answer that, good, then you are hired. So pursuing anytime, not mandatory, but you can pursue it anytime if you think it's relevant for you. And there's another video on my YouTube channel, are certifications worth it, both on
yeah.
English and Hindi. So if you want to listen to that, you can have.
Okay, great, great. Just go to Siam's channel. Okay, and also let's another question. Like, hey Siam, how a beginner in his freshman year of college can start contributing to open source? I guess you have mentioned that in parallel learning with DevOps, and what you would have done as a beginner while learning these two. Yeah. So
See, the thing is, you don't have to contribute to open source. Like, sorry, you don't have to wait for contributing to open source. It's see, it's the same thing. I'll tell you a story. So when I was in HP, I was the initial project that I worked on was on LifeRay. So LifeRay is another technology. It's written, it has its own set of functions and stuff like that, which is there. Basically, if you are from Java domain, then it's pretty straightforward. You'll be able to adapt that and learn that. But I never worked on LifeRay. I heard it for the first time back, years back. But the thing is, I didn't wait to learn about LifeRay end to end and then contribute to the project that I am in. No, so there was a problem statement that was given to me. I have to solve it. I
Mhm.
consulted my seniors over there at that particular point of time. They were supportive. They helped me. Then I went to the through the documentation and all those stuff. I started learning things, and then I started doing. So it's kind of a learn by doing. It's so you should not like, I will learn or complete one course or a certain book and then start contributing, because that's not how it works. Uh, because those things doesn't teach you the actual thing that you have to contribute. So there's a issue. Discuss on that issue. Or first is shadow. So see, shadow some of the issues that are happening, shadow some of the PRs that people are raising on that repository, and then you should be
Mhm.
able to get some idea, okay, how things work, how things are getting connected, get interested in the project, run the project, clone the project, run it locally, make some changes, run it locally, then try to get involved in some of the issues, try to get involved in some of the PR, shadow it for some time, and then you see, okay, this one is a bit smaller one, I can do it, and side by side keep learning about that technology as well. Like if it's Rust, you are learning a little bit of Rust. Obviously you should know about the syntax, but not the entire Rust ecosystem that you are going through 4 hours 5 hours training. You are purchasing courses, you are purchasing books, and then you think that after 2 months or 3 months of training, heavy learning, then you will come back to this particular issue. I mean, learn by doing is something is best, and that's how many people have got into open source. That's how many people have contributed and become really big in the industry.
Mhm. Yes, yes. So something I would like to add here is because as a student, the thing I guess he wants to know about is like he hasn't completed learning DevOps, right? So now if he starts contributing to DevOps, something like that, and if he gets stuck, so there will be something like a confident problem or something like that, confidence data problem. So maybe this is something students do fear about. But I think what I have seen also as a student, like you have to do things parallelly, and it is not like that. If once you complete the course or something, it ensures that you are going to get a good project, or you might get a good opportunity. But rather than learning and also contributing or looking for opportunities, something actually does work well actually, because you are learning and you have some pressures on that, like you have been assigned to this project, you have to work on this, maybe you will learn better. So something like that, I guess this is something what I feel. Okay, so yeah, thank you for answering this. And now about your experience as well. So you have extensive experience working at technology company like HP. So what key lesson did you learn early in your career that set you up for success in leadership roles? Yeah.
See, it's hard work. So there's no I really worked hard. I
Hmm.
learned a lot. I never missed any opportunity. I always kept my ears open, my eyes open for anything, and I
Hmm.
tapped into it. Once I got the So I was working, like I told you, in Liferay, and
Hmm.
a few months down the lane, I got a phone call. I was on a vacation. So my manager called me and said, "Hey, there is one person who's leaving. Would you like to take up that project? It's Docker." I didn't know Linux. I didn't know anything at that particular point of time, and I said, "Yeah, sure, let's do it." So I came back from vacation and I had a week to manage the enterprise DTR, uh, which I had no clue what that is, what Docker is, what anything is. And I said, yeah, sure, let's see what it is. Then I learned same. I learned a lot of things parallelly. I started learning Linux parallelly, Docker parallelly, containers parallelly, how things are working. I already had experience on virtual machines, how things are getting deployed over there, so I could relate the pain points over there. Then how things are happening over here, then setting up the developer environment, how things are pain point over there. Then I was trying to map all those things because I've been working in this domain. So I was able to map out things well, and then I kept learning, and then I kept learning about cloud. So I got certified. I was the youngest DevOps coach at HP. So there were a lot of things that happened parallelly. I think I was the youngest one, but there's no like no disclaimer. Okay, if anybody else is now or
Yeah.
before me,
So it
it's
can happen.
completely
Yeah.
fine. But I was the DevOps
Yeah.
coach over there, and then moving on, I always tapped on the opportunities and looking for new challenges.
Mm-hmm.
So we did a lot of DevOps dojos at HP, and then I also was in Oracle for some time on their Oracle team, and then in Walmart, the machine learning platform team, and then slowly moving to CO, doing stuff. So I have done, like, I have been learning all along. So learning is something which is constant, and keeping your
Mm-hmm.
eyes and ears open for any opportunity, just tap in. You can't
Mm-hmm.
wait, and you can't rest. When I was there, like, I wasn't ready to rest. I was ready to learn and learn and learn and learn. So you have to keep learning every day, and that's in every field. That's in actually every field: medical, science. You're a scientist. You are anybody. The day you stop
Mm-hmm.
learning is the day your career is at risk. So you have to keep learning, and that's what I have been keep doing in the past. I'm doing now, and I'll keep doing in the future as well.
Yes, that's has been a long learning journey and also a long experience as well. Oh, okay, that was a really awesome answer. I guess. Okay, so I guess another question, like, how would someone only have contributed to open source and land DevOps or DevRel internships? There's not many internships available as per my knowledge.
So
Hmm.
I don't know why people want to do DevRel as a student. Why would you want to do that? That's my question to you. I would love to know the answer. Why would you want to do DevRel without, without having any experience, or without uh, I mean, I just want to know, because in my perspective, and people disagree with me, and I'm okay with that. So in my
Mm-hmm.
experience, a DevRel intern should not be there. Like, you should do some heavy work in life, and then
Mm-hmm.
get yourself grind for some time, and then start in DevRel. Yeah, see, that's the thing, right? DevRel seems a cool job, so then
Yeah.
then fine. Like, you have to search for cool jobs. Cool jobs are no more out there. So you have to search things on your own. There's nothing that I can touch on this area, to be honest, because it takes a lot of hard work. Like, people. So there's one video. I don't know if any of you understands Hindi, but there's one video that I created on my Hindi YouTube channel, busting the DevRel
Mm-hmm.
myths. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so if you think it's a cool job, do watch that.
Okay, great. Yeah. Okay. So yeah,
Because many
most of the
people
people.
think that
Hmm.
DevRel is only about roaming here and there, and fancy
Yeah,
job, and you get a lot of money. To be honest, it's just a small part, like very very tiny part out of the very
yeah,
big picture out there.
yeah. Like frontiers, like they are actually representing so some and in that videos or channels so on. So people do think, yeah, it's very cool. Okay, another question, like you book. Let's dive into CK scenario. Seems like an incredibly valuable resource for those preparing for the CK exam. So what motivated you to create this book and share your knowledge? Yeah, something about you right now. Yeah.
Thank you for the good comment, first of all. So I previously wrote the CKS scenario. So I have been involved in CNCF for their certification aspects. I have done all the certifications as well. I was involved in many other areas with people creating courses and stuff like that. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to create something that people can generate the scenario themselves and then solve it. So both of my books, the CKS and CKA, it teaches you how to create that particular scenario and then solve it. So I think it's a very practical hands-on approach that is there. So you should be able to follow it pretty easily. CKA one is actually pretty heavy. I invested a lot of time in that, and that book has been like, I have been to be honest, getting a lot of positive comments, so thank you for that.
Yeah, yeah. So
And
yeah,
I'm
that's
writing another
awesome.
book
Which one?
that's
Yeah.
that'll come out soon. So I'm writing another book, but yeah, I
Yeah.
am writing, and it's been going good. and it
Okay.
the and yes, the positive comments. The first book that I wrote on CKS, I was not sure
Mm.
how well it will do, but it has sold over 1,000 copies. I'm pretty happy with that.
Awesome.
Without any marketing, or without any publication name, it's an individual publication that I have done. And I have
Hmm.
got backing from very big companies who have purchased in bulk like 100 copies, and distributed that, like Teleport, Sysdig. So I am pretty happy with how it turned out, and that motivated me to write CKA, and the success of both
Hmm.
now motivated me to write the third one.
So expecting a new book soon, right? Okay, so yeah, okay. I guess this question you have mentioned, but still, like at this time now, for the folks like you, the open source is getting more competitive. So how would tackle the problems of getting into open source or get into open source if you're a beginner right now? I guess people, students are taking things very seriously or something. They're burdening themselves, like talking about open source. I think sometimes people are doing this when mentioning about open source. What do you think? I guess.
Yeah, see, the thing is, for me, I don't think it's getting competitive.
Yeah.
I feel it as a land of opportunities. So how you should look like it is see the CNCF landscape. Okay, that's just one example. Because I am cloud native, so I always give the examples of cloud native as well. So see the CNCF
Bigger
landscape.
landscape.
It's getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Like it has been getting bigger
Yeah.
and bigger. So there was one project in 2013, which was Kubernetes. Since then, there are thousands of projects. So if the
Hmm.
number of people are getting more in this space, there are number of opportunities that are getting increased. There are number of projects where you can contribute are also getting increased. So it's a well balanced out there. So there's competition everywhere. So where there is not competition, so you if you want to stand out, again, there is only one solution to all your problems, which is keep learning and to keep doing the hard work. And you should know, and keep doing it with a focus and a target mindset, not just like I am learning 10 courses at a time, I'm doing 8 hours of study, I'm doing a lot of hard work. That might not lead you to anywhere, right? So you have to do it in a proper structured way.
Yeah. Obviously, there should be goal. Other than this, they will lose. Okay. So again, Sam, you just said you learned Linux, Docker, etc. parallelly. So what problems did you face then? Is just going with the process of learning the right way to it, or any metric to check the learnings? Yeah.
See, it's pretty straightforward. Like any concept new that you learn, you need to implement that. You need to try it. You need to try the hands-on, and that's what I did. When you learn trigonometry, when you learn calculus, so you get that in your head, because everything is new. Every terminology is new. Calculus, you
Hmm.
don't know anything. Derivative. What is the d by dx? You don't know anything. But when you start learning, you start implementing, you start practicing, you get to know. Same with any concept throughout your journey. There will be new stuff keep coming in. You have to grasp the all the terminologies, and then you keep try it out. Just keep trying and see how things are working, and you will be able to connect it well.
Yeah. Okay, Nader, I guess you seem to balance working on technical books, courses with organizing community events and conferences. So, how do you manage your time across these different initiatives? Yes.
I don't recommend that, but I sleep less.
Yeah.
So I sleep less, and sometimes, like these days,
Less
I am
than
awake
six.
till 3 a.m. and then I wake up at
Hmm.
6. So
Ooh.
it's normal for me, but you should not do this. It takes a toll on your health, and but sometimes you don't get that sleep because I have so much to do on my mind
Hmm.
already, that I stay for a bit longer to, okay, let's finish this, let me finish this also.
Yeah.
It's a pain, but even then, even if you take a 6 7 hour nap, you should have enough time to do a lot of things. So like I said, I keep learning, and I have a lot of stuff on my plate to work on. I keep myself busy, and I enjoy what I'm doing. Is That's the reason I'm able to do it for a bit longer time as well.
Yeah. Obviously. Okay. So another question, like how can to get international remote offers while I only have expertise in Google Cloud, Linux, Kubernetes, DevOps. I see mostly developers or coders by contributing to on Git projects gets these remote jobs.
The
Okay.
the the see I mean, how are you getting these statistics is my question. So I'm not sure from
Yeah.
where you are getting these statistics from. There are remote jobs out there. Um, there is competition out there. So it's not that, like, it depends on how you are searching. So again, there is a video on my YouTube channel. Then this one is on Cube Simplify Hindi channel, all about remote jobs, where I explain in detail about remote jobs, how you can search and all those things. So probably go through that. But I think there are remote jobs out there. Yeah, economic situations are bad, so you might see them less in numbers, but that happens every now and then. It's not something that is happening for the first time ever in the history. So layoffs happen every now and then. It's not that it happened only last year. Everything happened this year or last year has happened before. Even a
Hmm.
massive recession happened in 2008. So there are a lot of things that are happening. uh, that's why I say, if you are searching for a remote job, you should have a plan for that. So you should be very, very careful how much time you'll be investing in searching, and how you'll be searching with the set plan, set action, what zone you are targeting as well.
Yeah. Okay, so another question, like, okay, so being a beginner at first, should I work on my own project or collaborate with others' project? What's your thought on that?
Sorry, being a beginner at
Okay.
first, should I work on my own project or collaborate on another's projects? That totally depends. Like, if you think collaborating on other project gives you more knowledge, go for it. If you think you can work out things on your own and build something from your imagination, go for it. Like, it's not age dependent. Like, you are, like, stop, you have to come out of the bubble. It's not that you can only build cool stuff when you are graduated. So that's wrong. There are people in their 16, in their 17s, in their 18s, who are creating massive things out there, who are contributing way more than you can imagine, who are building stuff way more than any other people can. So it all depends on how you are learning, approaching, building all these things, and which communities you are involved in. So all these things depend on. So there's nothing like, um, you are too young to start a new project, or too old to learn a new technology. So you can learn
Yeah.
anytime, you can contribute anytime, you can collaborate, or you can create your own stuff, cool stuff, at any point in time.
Yes, sure. Okay, so another question, like, why are second year undergrads putting looking for development jobs in their bio? So Kunal had asked this few days back on X. So what's your opinion on that? Like, you mentioned about development jobs, right? Like, why students are so fascinated about
The,
these. So what do you
again,
think on that?
the same thing. They are fascinated about the money, and they are fascinated
Yes, that's
about
one thing.
the what you call, you get to roam international and all that stuff. So it really depends. Now the hiring companies are getting, like, I have been mentoring a lot of organizations. I have been mentoring a lot of folks in DevRel. I have been mentoring these organizations to set their DevRel strategy. So many organizations now are having a clear plan. They are also hiring DevRels in different regions, so that cross international travel can reduce. So if you are a DevRel in India, you travel within India. If you are DevRel in Europe, you travel in Europe. So that the budgets can be limited. So the companies are getting good in terms of this. And then uh, as a devrel, you have to do a lot more than you were doing before. So it's not only about, so some people have spoiled it, but not some people, but some processes, I would say some processes have spoiled this terminology of devrel, and that's why everybody wants to be a devrel. I think everybody uh, should learn to focus on, like, there's no problem. See, there is no problem in
Yeah.
becoming, yeah, I want to do a devrel. It's fine if you want to do it for money, if you want to do it for anything. But think of it is in this way, like, if you will be getting X amount, or and if you will be getting all the perks, then
Hmm.
what the job will demand, what skills it will demand. Do you have that skills? So that's the question you should be really asking. Do I have the skills that will get me hired for this particular role, be it devrel, be it software engineer, be it at Fang, be it anything? So if, like, getting fascinated by seeing others, okay, you can, but that will not help you. Getting excited by seeing fancy cars won't help you. Getting excited by seeing fancy houses won't help you. Getting excited seeing millions of dollars people are spending like this, or Instagram reels, that won't help you. Getting excited by influencers saying this is okay, this is fine, that won't help you. What will really help you is what is your target. Even if you are excited by that particular person, do you want to become, or do you want to get to that stage? Note it down, how to get to that stage, what it takes, what all
Mhm.
learnings it takes to get to that stage is something that you should be asking yourself and working towards it.
Yeah. Okay. So it's more about more of like breaking down the steps, right? Like how to get
Yes.
into that place, obviously. Okay. So I guess now talking about Cube Simplify, like you have founded a company. I guess company focused on simplifying Kubernetes. What inspired you to start this endeavor, and what unique value does your platform provide to enterprise adopting Kubernetes? Talking
Yeah,
about,
so
I guess,
it's
keep
it's
us.
not a it's not a registered company, it's just a community. So it's a community. It has, yeah, it has its socials, LinkedIn, GitHub, all the pages, projects. So basically many people were saying that they are not getting projects to contribute to. So that was the initial
Mhm.
goal of starting Cube Simplify, but then it turned out to be a big community. I changed my YouTube channel to Cube Simplify because it towards a bigger mission. So there are videos on my channel that you won't find on any other YouTube channel at the time that I created some of them.
Mhm.
So you get the latest and the best content out there. That is one of the things. You get to work with a very diverse mindset of folks in the which are very who are very welcoming as well. So there are 3,000 plus people on the Discord. Some of the
Yeah.
members like Kunal and this guy Vishal is also in the chat that I can see. They are Cube Simplify ambassadors. So they,
Yeah.
like, you have a lot of great learning. We have 100 plus blogs that is written and contributed by various people are all across the globe, and we have over 250,000 views on those within 1 year 4 months, I think. So 1 year 5 months.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
we are approaching 10K on Twitter. So I think there are a lot of stuff happening on Cube Simplify. There's a very amazing project called KSCTL, which is an open source Golang CLI written in using Cobra to manage and create HA Kubernetes clusters. It got redesigned. It has got good attraction in the community. It's becoming a big open source project, and I'm pretty sure very soon it will turn into a very big, massive project. So there are a lot of things. Other few projects are also coming. I think you can join, start, ask, you want to contribute to different domains, and there are ambassadors and people out there in the community that will guide you in a proper way, how you can start, what you can do, and stuff like that.
Yes. Awesome. Okay, meanwhile, I can actually, I will share the Cube Simplify link here so that student can join. Okay, so let's take another question. Like, yeah, what's your thought on LFX mentorship? So, yeah.
That's good. That's my thought. It's good. Go for it.
Yes, obviously. That's something. Okay. Okay, what's this? Like, everyone is relating the remote jobs with the open source. Is that a proper approach that going doing like open source for only remote jobs?
So I'm not sure if you heard the first question that was asked, like what is open source. I did mention what is open source over there. So probably once the stream end, you can scroll back and
Hmm.
hear my thoughts on what open source is. And I never related open source to remote jobs. There is one aspect of it where people can, and there's a difference between can and will. So where people can, and it can lead to getting you a job, but that's not mandatory. There are other aspects of open source as well.
Yes, just like one of the benefits, like you can go land a remote job, right? Okay, so yeah, as a student and having knowledge on Kubernetes and a few cloud native tech, which jobs should I seek as a fresh graduate, or while being in a university, how should I start to gain more experience and land better jobs? Although, yeah.
See, it depends on what you want to become. So you have to define your goals first. If you're completely unclear, then go for like the basic ones: Kubernetes engineer, DevOps engineer, and then go through that roadmap. See the jobs which are out there. See the mappings, what you have learned, and what all is out there, and you should be able to figure out what is done, what is missing, and how you'll be able to apply in future.
Okay. Yes. Questions are like pretty now being kind of they're being common right now. like all have most of them have been answered, right? So
Yep.
Naimul has asked like, what's your choice will be between X versus LinkedIn, I guess, platform? What will you prefer for better opportunity? So
I use both. They both have proven to be very good for me, both for Cube Simplify and my personal development. So I would say both. I still get a lot of opportunities on both the platform, though I'm not looking, but I still get on both the platforms. So I think both are good. LinkedIn, I mean, they both have spams, so you have to filter them out. Keep your feed healthy by following the right people, making the right connects, and you should be good. Keep engaging and stuff. Keep asking questions. Keep learning. Keep whatever you have learned. Keep sharing. So both platforms are good.
okay, so another thing you mentioned something related to machine learning, I guess. So maybe this is why these questions come up. Like, I am keen in learning machine learning. Is there any scope in open source and remote work in the domain of machine learning?
Plenty,
And
plenty of
yeah.
scope. Like there are so many open source ML projects. Like where do I start and where do I end? So probably so the answer is yes. You definitely can, get a lot of projects in open source with respect to machine learning that you can contribute to, and also jobs out there, remote work that you can find in this domain.
Okay, I don't think we are going to take a lot of questions right now because we have like exceeded the time. Like it was like 30
Yeah,
minutes, but people are like asking so many questions, and I'm really happy that yeah, people are actually clearing their doubts. So let's take one more question. Like I guess questions are coming up. I don't know what to do, but it's up to you, I guess. Okay, so
yeah.
learning
I,
film
I
courses
have
at the
another
time.
like I have another session
Oh
in
well, yeah,
there's
start, I
a
guess.
Twitter, yeah, there's a meeting that I have, and then there is a Twitter space on
Mhm.
DevOps at 9 p.m. that
Okay,
I'm doing. So I'm pretty
okay,
packed up. I need 10-minute break also before my next
okay,
call.
okay, okay. Yes, sure.
So thanks for the amazing questions. I think the
Hmm.
community is excited, and I loved all the questions. I hope you got something out of the conversation that I and Mithul had. So and
Yeah,
thanks Mithul for inviting me. It was great talking to you and to
yeah.
the community as
Pleasure
well.
is all mine. Yeah, pleasure is all mine. And obviously, thank you so much for actually giving you some time for our community. And surely you need some rest because there's a lot of work for you. So thank you so much again. We'll be in touch. And okay, thank you, and see you soon, Sayam. Then bye. Yeah.
Thank you. Bye everyone.